all those 20 programs and file it as assignment. So 50 marks for that, for doing it, and next 50 will be based on Viva and your test papers. So 100 marks internal, 100 marks theory written paper. And when the marks of computer as a paper, when it is published, average of this will be considered. Theory written paper 100, internal 100. Okay. So average of it will be taken by the board and given you as the marks of your computer applications paper. So if some students are not regularly attending the class, how can we give the internal marks, full internal marks, 100 out of 100? That you can never expect. Okay. I want everybody to join the class and be attentive in the class and study regularly. Okay. So in almost all the classes, some are not logging in, and when questions are asked, some are exiting, and when the class starts again they will rejoin. In many classes it is taking place like this. So we don't want such experiences or such kinds of behavior from 10th grade students especially, because you are going to write the board exam. Am I right? In the last class, we have discussed two different ways of invoking a function. How values are passed from the main method or from the invoked statement to the function. Okay. So only one of the methods we have discussed in the last class with the help of an example. So let me ask the questions to some of the students. Lito, tell me. Lito, are you there? Lito, Jimmy, are you there? No response from Lito. And P. Joy. And tell me which method you have studied in the last class. Which method of invoking a function? Pass by value. Pass by value or pass by call by value method. Pass by value or call by value method. Am I right? So now Andrick James has to tell me, what do you mean by, what did you understand from the term pass by value? What is pass by value method of invoking a function? Andrick.
In pass by value,
so in pass by value method, values of actual arguments will be copied to the formal arguments, isn't it? Actual arguments, values of actual arguments will be copied to the formal arguments, and formal arguments are the arguments at the function prototype. So function has its own copy of the value which has to be processed, and the function works on its own copy. So if any changes are made in the value by the function, it will not affect the original value. It will not affect the value stored in the actual arguments. So in pass by value method, a duplicate copy of the value which has to be processed is taking place. Am I right? And now Amlin, tell me, for what kind of data, to pass what kind of data to a function, pass by value method is used. Amlin, are you there? For passing what kind of data to a function, pass by value method is used by Java. In the previous class we have discussed, I explained it a number of times. Okay. Now Amlin, are you there? Then respond. No time to waste. Do you know the answer? What kind of data type? What kind of data will be passed to a function by using the method pass by value or call by value? Primitive data types. Am I right? Primitive data types. Okay, Alan Kuttukaran, tell me which are the primitive data types in Java. Alan Kuttukaran. Alan Kuttukaran is not there. So where he has gone? He is not attending the class. Alan Kuttukaran, are you there? Respond. Alan Kuttukaran, not there. So I will note down your name and I will call your parents. That's better. Am I right? Alan Kuttukaran. Okay. So Alan Robbins, tell me which are the primitive data types in Java. Quick, quick. 15 minutes already over. Alan Robbins, primitive data types in Java.
Byte.
Byte. Short. Int. Float. Double. Char. Boolean. So how many are there? Anything is missing?
No. 8 primitive data.
So you did not tell about long. You forgot. I was counting when you told the data type. Okay. So long data type also is there. Now Grace, tell me, pass by value method is used for invoking or passing what kind of data to the function? Grace, are you there? Grace Joffy. Grace Joffy. Tell me what kind of data will be, what type of data are passed to the function by using pass by value method? What type of data are passed to the function by using pass by value method? So you are not attentive in the class. Just now only the same question was asked to another student and I repeated the answer. Grace Joffy, to pass primitive data types to a function for processing, pass by value method is used. When you invoke a function by using pass by value method, actual arguments value will be copied to the formal arguments. So what is the difference between actual arguments and formal arguments? Tell me, Grace. Yes, quickly. What is the difference between actual argument and formal argument?
Actual, when you pass arguments to systems, you can pass value.
What are actual arguments and formal arguments? Your answer is not clear. Variables used at the function call are known as actual arguments and variables declared at the function prototype are known as formal arguments. Did I explain this concept in the previous class?
Yes.
So why you are unable to answer the question?
The values that are passed to a function.
Variables used at the method call statement are known as actual arguments and the variables declared at the function prototype in the first line of the function definition are known as formal arguments, isn't it? So be attentive in the class. Okay, now Agna, are you there? Agna. Agna, tell me, I have mentioned one more way of invoking a function used by Java in the previous class. I have mentioned two different methods of invoking functions in Java in the previous class. One of them we have discussed yesterday. So which is the other one left?
Call by reference.
Okay, call by reference or pass by reference method. Okay. Whenever you have any doubt, you have to ask me. Okay. So second method we are going to discuss today now. Call by reference or pass by reference method. Call by reference or pass by reference method is mainly used for passing reference data type to a function. To pass a reference data type to a function, call by reference or pass by reference method is used. Okay, so here what happens is, when an object is created in the memory, I started writing a program, half of it is written, so we will complete it. So when an object of a class is created, just I am telling an example. Okay. Let me complete this function, this program, and then we'll tell you. Or here itself, public class call by reference. I have written a program to explain you call by reference with the help of an example. So I have given the name for the class as public class call by reference, okay. And it has two variables declared at the beginning of the class. They are non-static methods, Simply I have declared the variable as int x comma y. Two integer variables, instance variables are declared at the beginning of the class. All the non-static variables declared at the beginning of the class, are known as instance variables. Variables declared at the beginning of the class, they should be non-static also. Non-static variables declared at the beginning of the class are known as instance variables. So which are the instance variables here? X and y. X and y are instance variables. Why are they called as instance variables? Is here when we go through the program, so two instance variables are there, x and y. I will tell you why they are called as instance variables as we move on. There is a method written, public void change. It is not static, it is a non-static method. Public void change. I did not use the keyword static, okay. It is a non-static method. So this method is known as instance method. These variables are known as instance variables because I haven't used the keyword static, okay. So x and y are instance variables and change is an instance method. Whereas when you come down, you can see another method written, public static void main. Main is a static method. So this method is known as class method. So instance variables, instance methods, class variables and class methods. We will see what are these. Instance variables are the non-static variables declared at the beginning of the class as common variables for all the methods throughout the class, okay. And if you declare any static variable here, int, static int, public static int, static variables also can be declared, static int z. So this is a class variable. A variable declared with the keyword static is a class variable, okay. And a method which is declared with the keyword static is known as class method. Why are they called as? Why some variables are called as instance variables and instance methods? Why some others are called as class variables and class methods? When you create after writing this program is incomplete. I have to write some more commands here. We will write as we discuss, okay. when you after writing the entire program, you are supposed to compile the class to execute it, isn't it? So when you complete the compilation of the class, you will be able to see a class icon with the 2 slanted lines at the bottom right corner. So right click on the compiled class. So you will be able to see the class variable name and class method name there. Class method name, which is a method, static method name. Static method is known as class method. Class variables and class methods will be created and attached to the class at the time of compilation itself. So after compiling, you will be able to see a class icon with the name called by reference. That is the name of the class, isn't it? When the class is created, at that moment itself, in the memory, the variable z will be created. Variable z will be created. Z, a memory location will be declared and it will be connected to the class. And the main method also will be created. This is main method. Main method is also created and it will be connected to the class. Okay. At the time of compilation itself, compiler will create or declare a memory location and will give a name to that memory location as given by the user, and it will be connected to the class. Okay. We did not create any object now. We just compiled the class, and at the time of compilation, after compilation, you will be able to see 2 slanted lines on the class icon. You will not be able to see actually slanted lines. You will be able to see at the time of compilation itself. Java creates allocate memory for all the static variables. If there are any more static variables, all those variables will be declared in the memory. Memory allocation will take place for the static variables, and static methods also will be created in the memory and will be connected to the class. So we did not create any object. Okay. So to refer to this variable, class name dot variable name. What is the name of the class? Called by reference dot z. Likewise, to refer to this main method, called by reference dot main. To refer to the static method, class name dot method name, or to refer to the class variables, class name dot variable name syntax is used. Okay. So they are created at the time of compilation itself. Now you can create an object of the class manually. By right clicking on it, you will be able to create an object of this class. So the created object will be seated at the object bench. Any number of objects can be created by using the same class. All these objects, object 1, object 2, object 3, 3 objects are created from this class. All these objects will be using this common variable and this main method, this common method. This object can make use of this method and this variable. Second object also can make use of the main method and the variable z, and the first object also can make use of the main method and z. So all the objects of a class will share one common variable and one main method, as there is only one static variable and one static method. This variable and this method will be shared by all the objects of the class. It is common to all the objects of the class. It is created at the time of compilation of the class and connected to the class, attached to the class. Because of that, they are known as class variables and class methods. You will be able to access class variables and class methods by specifying class name, class name dot variable name, Okay. Likewise, to access the method, class name dot method name. Okay. That is the specialty of static methods. But there is a non-static method, change, and 2 variables are there, x and y. They will not be created when the compilation takes place. Okay. These variables will not be created and connected to the class at the time of compilation. This change method and the variables x and y will not be created in the memory at the time of compilation. So when they will be created? When you create an object of the class, by using the command class name space object name equal to new class name, or right click on the compiled class icon. This is the class icon. Call by reference is the name of the class. Compiled class icon. Two variables, the variable z is created at the time of compilation and connected to the class, linked to the class. Main method is also created and linked to the class. Okay. So only static variable and static method is created at the time of compilation. Okay. They are common for all the objects of the class. Right click on the compiled class, create the objects. Okay. Right click on the compiled class and create the objects. Suppose you have created the first object, object 1, obj1, object 1. And this object will have a copy of, when an object is created, each object will have a copy of non-static variables and non-static methods. Which are the non-static variables here? X is a non-static variable, Y is a non-static variable. There is only one method, non-static method, that is change. So with this object will have, there will be a memory location declared inside this object with the name X, and another memory location will be declared with the name Y and connected to this object, and there is a method change method also will be created and it will be linked to the class. Okay. So when an object is created, these two variables and method is created along with it. When you create the second object obj2, imagine that you created one more object obj2. This object also will have a copy of x, y and change method. Okay. So each object has its own copy of non-static variables and non-static method. In this storage location you can store the value 5. Object 2's storage location of x you can store the value 5. Here in y you can store 10. Here in this storage location you may store 200. Here you may store 300. So different objects, instance variables can store different values. Objects are different. So each object has a copy of these variables x, y and the change method. So an object is an instance of a class that we have studied. A class is a blueprint or it's an object factory. A real object is an instance of the class. Obj2 is an instance of the class called call by reference. Obj1 is an instance of the class called call by reference. So with each instance these variables are created. Because of that, x, y and the change method are known as non-static or non-static variables or non-static methods. They are also called as instance variables and instance methods. They will be created only when the object is created. Okay. Whereas static variables and static methods are created at the time of compilation. So they are connected to the class itself. And if this object wants to call main method, it can call the main method. This object, if it needs to call the main method, it also can make use of the main method. And this object can refer to Z. This object also can use Z, the memory location. So these are common to all the objects of the class. Class variables and class methods are common to all the objects of the class. Only one copy of it will be created in the memory. Is it clear? Maria Denny. Class variables and class methods. Class variables, class methods, instance variables and instance methods. The idea of instance variables and instance methods, class variables and class methods, is it clear? What are the difference between instance variables and class variables, or instance methods and class methods? 2 marks question for board exam. Maria Denny, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what is the difference between a class variable and or a class method and instance method. Hello? Maria, are you there? Do you know the answer? Don't waste the time, I have to explain the program. If you don't know the answer, I will ask to somebody else. Do you know the answer?
No.
No, you did not listen to me what I explained.
Yes.
So Jaswin, tell me. Differentiate between class variables and instance variables. Jaswin Jose. Hello Jaswin. Oh Jaswin, there are too much noise from your side. Okay, so you turn off your mic, let me talk to somebody else. Disturbances, I am not getting your voice. Okay, so let me turn to someone else. Trisha, tell me what are the differences between class variables and instance variables? Hello Trisha.
Yes, miss.
Tell me what is the difference between a class variable and an instance variable?
Instance variable does not consist of static.
Variables which are declared at the beginning of the class and it is not declared with the keyword static. Okay. So which are the instance variables in this?
X and Y.
X and Y are the instance variables. Which is the class variable?
Class variable is Z.
Z is the class variable. What is the difference? Class variable will be created when the class is compiled. Am I right? Only one copy of the class variable will be created in the memory at the time of compilation. Okay. Each object will not have a copy of Z. Only one copy is there. Like 2000 students are studying in a school. So all these 2000 students are studying in Lord's Academy. When you store the details of each student along with each student's record, do we have to store Lord's Academy everywhere with each student's detail? Roll number, okay. Roll number 22. Name, Trisha. Date of birth. Class. School, name of the school, Lord's Academy. The next person, Ann P. Joy. Okay, roll number 20 or say roll number 2. Name of the student, Ann P. Joy. Grade 10. Name of the school, Lord's Academy. So, if Lord's Academy is repeatedly typed for all the 44 students of your class, we are wasting the memory unnecessarily. Am I right? Hello?
Yes.
We are wasting the memory by storing the same school name with each student's details. Am I right?
Yes.
So, instead of that, why can't we use the location Z for storing the school name? And each student object can go to that particular location and access the value. Instead of storing school's name with object 2, object 1, object 3, object 4 and all. Am I right?
Yes.
So, in order to avoid the repetition of the same data in the computer memory, Java provides this facility. If something is common to all the objects of the class, only once you have to store that in the memory. And all the objects can share that value by using the syntax class name dot variable name. Call by reference dot Z equal to Lord's Academy. You can store it like that. Okay. If it is Z is string data type. Okay. Here Z is integer data type. Am I right? School code. Say imagine that it's the school code 006. School code is common for all the students of Lord's Academy. Am I right? So you can store the value in your program by using call by reference dot z equal to 6. We cannot start an integer with a 0. If you start an integer with a 0, what type of integer it is? Mrinalini, tell me, if you start an integer with a 0, what kind of data it is? An integer started with a 0. How Java will consider that number? What kind of integer constant is it? Mrinalini? Hello Mrinalini? Marinjoy? Marin? Yes. A number started with a 0. What kind of integral constant is that? Octal integral constant. Okay. Octal integer. Am I right? So, class name dot variable name equal to 6. By using that syntax, you can store the value in that location. So, Z is a class variable. It can be accessed by all the objects of the class. Now, EBITDA, tell me. EBITDA, are you there? EBITDA? Hello? EBITDA, is she there? Sania? Litto? I don't have your names list with me. Next day onwards, I will bring the list of all the students and will ask questions. Okay. Okay. So Gayatri, tell me which are the instance variables. Gayatri, tell me which are the instance variables in this.
Int x and y.
X and y are instance variables. Which is the instance method?
Void change.
Change is the instance method. So what is the specialty of instance method? When will they be created in the memory?
They will be created during object creation.
Along with the object only. Along with each object, a copy of instance variables and instance method will be created, isn't it? And each object can store different values in those locations. These locations are unique locations of this particular object, because let us think of a student object. Roll number is different for different object. Imagine that instead of X, the storage location's name was roll number and this Y was name. So first student's roll number and name is different from second student's roll number and name. Am I right? So instance variables are used to store the unique informations of each student. Am I right? So X and Y are instance variables and change is the instance method. It is copied to each object. Because of that only, non-static methods and non-static variables declared at the beginning of the class are known as instance variables and instance methods. Okay. So that's clear for you. And now, what is the syntax for creating an object of the class? Alan Robbins? Syntax for creating an object of the class. Class name is call by reference. Syntax for creating an object of the class. Class name is call by reference. I want to create an object of this class. How do I create the object? Tell me the command to create an object of this class. Quick, quick. Hello. Alan Robbins, are you there? Or have you gone for having tea? Alan Robbins. So, how do you create an object of a class? By writing command. In the previous program, we have created the objects in the main method. You don't know? class name space object name equal to new keyword and class name followed by empty and empty parenthesis. Did we use that syntax to create object?
Class name, object name,
Ah.
equal to new class
Ah,
name.
yes, that's what I asked you. What is the syntax for creating an object of a class? So here, name of the class is call by reference. I want to create an object of this class with the name obj1. What is the command that I should write? Class name,
Call by reference.
object name,
Object one.
object 1. Any name can be given for the object. Your name also can be given. Call by reference, Alan equal to new call by reference.
Equal to
Am I-
new call by reference.
Okay, your name also can be given. Okay, so call by reference object name. Say obj1 equal to new call by reference, followed by opening and closing bracket. Am I right? So when the statement is executed, what is actually happening in the memory? Call by reference type variable. So when you declare int x, what are you telling? I want to store an integer value in a memory location. Reserve 4 bytes in the memory and give the name for that location as x. So what computer will do? It will reserve 4 bytes in the memory. 4 bytes will be reserved in the memory and a name x will be given to that location. And you will be able to store the data in it. Now when x equal to 25, when you give the storage location, this 4 bytes will be used for storing the value 25 here. Okay? This is an ordinary variable. When you declare a variable of primitive data type, what happens in the memory is index, the statement will reserve 4 bytes in the memory. To store the value in that location, you have used an assignment statement, x equal to 25. Then only the value 25 is stored here. Okay. So first you reserved the memory. Variable declaration means you are reserving the memory with a specific name for storing data later on. To store the data, I used an assignment statement here. This is the case of primitive data types. When you declare a variable, this is what is happening in the memory. So I want to create an object of the class and store it in the memory with the name obj1. So here look at call by reference type, one variable should be created in the memory. Okay, we can write it as two statements. Call by reference, I want to create an object in the memory. I want to create an object in the memory and store its address. See, call by reference type obj1. When this statement is executed, what happens in the memory is a memory location. We don't know how much space will be reserved. A memory location will be reserved with the name obj1. This is not the real object. It is not the real object. A memory location with the name obj1 will be reserved. Okay. Now, in as two lines, I'm going to split the object creation statement into two lines. Class type object name, class type variable name. Now, in the next statement, obj1 equal to new call by reference. New call by reference. As two statements also you can write. Student type S1 as a single statement. Below S1 equal to new student. Or as a single statement, student type S1 equal to new student. You can create the object. Object creation can be done in two steps or by using a single step. In the previous program, we created the object by using single step. Here, I created the object by using two steps. I declared the memory location to store the address of the object. So, class by reference obj1, when I used the statement, when the statement is executed, a memory location, simply a memory location will be reserved and it will be given the name obj1. Okay. You will not be able to store any value in it. obj1 equal to 25 cannot be given. Thus, because this variable is of this class type. This variable is of this particular class type. It's not a primitive data type. Okay. So, actually what happens is one memory location is reserved and its name is obj1. What you can do is, this memory location can be used to store the address of, memory address of any of the objects of this particular class, which will be created later on. Okay, later on. One simple example we will see. Call by reference and all. Lengthy name. Student class. Student type S1. S1 equal to new student. New student. So, student type S1. I am telling compiler, I want to create an object of the student class later on and declare a memory location to store the address, memory address of that object with the name S1. So, student S1, what it will do is, one memory location is reserved with the name S1. This is not an ordinary memory location. In this memory location, you can store only the memory address of an object of student class, which will be created later on. So, object of the student class is created with the keyword new. New keyword. New keyword creates an object of the class. New student. This particular part creates the object. Okay. What this part will do? Student type S1. It will simply reserve a space in the memory and give a name as S1. Okay. Now, the real object will be created. Real object will be created with the keyword new. So, this is the student object. Student object. Okay. Imagine that in the student object, some instance variables are there, say x and y. Okay. So, this is the student object. And this object in the memory is stored in a specific location where the memory address is AFC, the first bits address, starting bits address. You know that computer memory is made up of large number of bits. Am I right? Memory is measured as megabytes, terabytes, gigabytes and all. Am I right? So, computer memory is made up of large number of electronic cells known as bit or bits. Each bit has an internal address. Hexadecimal number system is used for giving address to each cell in the memory. So, when I told the computer to create an object of the student, it found an empty location where the space was free. It found that location and created an object of the student class. Imagine that the starting cell's address is AFC. So, I told the computer create an object of the student class. Let it be student class. Student. Okay, student class. An object of the student class. So, when an object of the student class is created, there is a memory location called as X, another memory location called as Y, and the change method is also there. Change method, isn't it? And this particular object is stored in the memory, and the starting cells, it consumed a lot of space. There are two integer variables. So, 4 bytes for X, 4 bytes for Y. For storing this method, some bytes are used. Okay. So, it consumes a part of the memory. And from this cell to that cell, it is consumed. The starting cell address is AFC. Imagine that AFC. It's a hexadecimal number. In hexadecimal number system, 10, the value 10 is known as A. Value 15 is known as F. Which is value C, which value is known as, which number is known as C? Okay, Gayatri, which number is known as C? Hello Gayatri. In hexadecimal 12, okay. So, 10, 15, 12, that is the actual values. So, this cell, starting cell of this object is AFC. We are telling that create an object. New command says create an object of the student class and return, give back the starting cell's address and store that address in S1. So, what happens is this address AFC C will be stored in S1. So S1 is only a memory location to store the starting address of an object of student class. Object is created somewhere else in the memory. Okay, somewhere else in the memory. So when you declare a class type variable, student type S1, only a simple memory location is reserved to store the address of an object. Object is not created now. Object will be created with the command new command, new student. This command created the real object in the memory and its starting cell address is stored S1 equal to, through assignment statement, the starting cell address is stored in S1. So now when we say S1 dot x equal to 25, what we are telling? Go to S1. What S1 says? Go to AFC. Come here to this part of the memory. And in this part of the memory, go to the location which is named as X and store the value 25 here. 25 is stored here. Understood? S1 dot y equal to 30. Go to the memory location which is referred by, which is pointed by S1. So S1 is pointing to an object in the memory. S1 is referring to an object in the memory. It's a reference. It contains a reference. References are what? Addresses. Okay. References are addresses. It is pointing to a memory location. Go to the memory location which is pointed by S1, which is referred by S1. So come here and go to the place which is named as Y and store the value 30 there. So 30 is stored here. Okay, 30 is stored there. Now S1 dot change. S1 dot change. Go to the location which is pointed by S1. Go to this address and from there go to the method named as change. Understood? This is how the instance methods and instance variables are referred by using a class type variable. So this variable is known as a pointer variable. What is it? Pointer variable. Pointer variable. Pointer variable or reference variable or reference variable. But because it is giving the reference of a memory location. It is pointing to a memory location. Okay. It is pointing to a memory location. So actually S1 is not the real object. S1 contains the address of student type object. Student type object. Object is created somewhere else in the memory. Am I right? Object is created somewhere else in the memory. So is it clear? So classes are reference data types. So we have studied there are 3 different reference data types in Java. Amlin, tell me which are the 3 different reference data types in Java? Amlin. Hello Amlin. Amlin is not there. Now Jaswin, can you turn on your mic? Am I speaking to Jaswin?
Yes.
Okay, Jaswin, tell me which are the reference data types in Java?
Classes.
Classes.
Objects.
Classes, arrays.
Arrays and objects.
Classes, arrays and interfaces.
Arrays.
How a class becomes a reference data type? It is clear from this now. When you declare a variable of student, a particular class type, a memory location will be reserved which can hold the address of an object of this particular class type. Student type S1. So this S1 can store the address of any of the objects of the student class. You cannot use S1 to store the address of the objects of some other class, say employee. Imagine that there is a class called employee type. Employee is another class, or there is a class called a teacher. So you cannot use S1 to point to an object of teacher, an object of the teacher class. S1 can be used to store the address of only the object of student class. Okay. So when student type S1, when this declaration is given, only a memory location, a pointer variable which can hold, which can store the address of an object of the student class will be reserved. We don't know how many bytes will be reserved for S1. The new keyword creates the real object in the memory with all the instance variables and methods. And this assignment statement, through this assignment statement, after creating the object, new keyword will give us the address. With the address only, if the address is available only, we will be able to go to the storage location and store the data, isn't it? So, but we are not familiar with memory addresses. So, Java provides an easy way. Okay, you use the new command to create an object and assign what is returning from the new command in S1. And simply you use S1 instead of AFC and all. To refer to this location, either we have to use AFC.x, AFC.y, AFC.change, but we don't know what is the memory address. So what we are doing? We are using new keyword to create the object, and new keyword will give us the address, starting storage location's address of the object, and that will be stored in S1. So S1 dot, for our convenience, S1.x. Go to the location which is pointed by S1 and store the value in the space named as x. S1.y. Go to the location pointed by S1. S1 is pointing to AFC, starting cell address. Okay. From there go to y. S1.change. Go to the location pointed by S1, starting address AFC. From there go to the place which is named as change. Understood? So class becomes a reference data type. This is known as a reference variable or pointer variable. It is giving the address of another memory location. Okay, giving the address of another memory location. So class becomes a reference data type in this sense. Okay, is it clear for everybody? I don't think that I have time to explain you this program. So I think you understood what is happening when an object is created in the memory. Will there be time? Some 15 more minutes? No. So tomorrow sometimes I may get time. Okay. So today I am winding up the session. Just let me summarize it. Program we will write and explain in the coming class. Most probably if Father allows me tomorrow, if I get a slot, I will take the class. Okay, that will be informed to you after discussing with the Father. So let me summarize it, today's class. Today what are the things we have discussed? We have discussed class variable, class method, instance variables, instance method. Am I right? How class becomes a reference data type. How a class becomes a reference data type. So, instead of asking questions to you, let me complete it. Instance variables are the non-static variables declared at the beginning of the class. Declared at the beginning of the class. And this will be copied to each object of the class. And class variables are the static variables declared at the beginning of the class. Static variables declared at the beginning of the class are known as class variables. Instance methods are non-static methods defined in the class. And an object of this class will have a copy of this. To refer to a non-static variable, object name dot variable name, or to refer to a non-static method, object name dot method name. Now, static methods are known as class methods. Static variables and static methods will be created at the time of compilation. When the class is compiled, at that moment itself, Java will create static variables and static methods, and it will be connected to the class. Only one copy of the variable and method will be created. Whereas non-static variables and non-static methods will be created along with each object. When an object is created, then only non-static variables and non-static methods will be created. So each object will have a copy of non-static variables and non-static methods. Because of that, they are known as instance variables and instance methods. Okay. Whereas static variables are connected to the class, it is associated with the class, it is common to all the objects of the class. Because of that, they are known as class variables and class methods. Okay. Now class as a reference data type. When you declare a variable of a particular class type, what happens in the memory is a memory location will be reserved which can be used by the programmer to store the address of an object of this particular class type. Okay. And the object is created with the keyword new class name followed by empty parenthesis. This command creates the real object in the memory and its starting address will be returned by the new keyword. That returned value is stored in S1. So the address AFC is given back by new keyword that is accepted and stored in S1. Now to refer to different locations in this object, this variable as it contains a memory address, this is known as reference variable or it is pointing to a particular location in the memory. So it is known as a pointer variable or reference variable. Okay. As it is known as a reference variable, see, to refer to particular locations in the object, S1 dot variable name, object name dot variable name, object name dot variable name S1 dot y. To refer to the method, to invoke the method, object name dot method name. This is what we have done in the previous program. obj1 dot, we invoked the method in the previous program. Okay. So S1 dot method name, object dot method name. Go to the location whose address is given by S1. From there go to the change method. I think now the idea is clear for everybody. So as when a class type variable is declared, only a pointer variable is reserved in the memory and it contains a memory location's address. Because of that, classes are known as reference data types. It is different from declaring an ordinary variable. It is different from declaring an ordinary variable. When an ordinary variable is declared, in the X, only one memory location is reserved with the name X. Say X equal to 10. So in the same place we are storing 10. No other memory locations are associated with it. But when you create an object, student type S1, a memory location is reserved for storing the address of the object. Object is created with the keyword new student. So object is created somewhere else and its starting address is stored in S1. So S1 points to the object in the memory. S1 gives the reference of the object in the memory. So student class is a reference data type. This S1 is known as reference variable. Understood? I think this concept is clear for everybody. Next day's class will be a continuation of it. I hope you have noted down the points. Next day I will ask you the difference between class variable, class method, instance variable, instance method, why class is known as a reference data type. These are the 5 points we have discussed today. Okay. Next day be prepared to answer to these questions. Thank you.